Hello, PEI. I'm Mike Montague, your Prince Edward Island realtor. As I am sure you know by now, if you live in or around Charlottetown, making your way into or out of the downtown just got a little bit easier and quicker with the completion and the reconstruction of the Riverside Drive intersection at the west end or the Charlottetown end of the Hillsborough Bridge after many dusty months contending with lane reductions and closures and staring down those stone faced flaggers in reflective vests holding out their stop signs while vehicles backed up block after block. For those who don't know, the Hillsborough Bridge connects the town of Stratford to the east with Charlottetown to the west, and in addition, it is part of the Trans Canada Highway System. Drivers now have a far more enhanced and flow through means of traversing Charlottetown's busiest intersection, and if I'm not mistaken, the most traveled section of roadway on the island. Whether you are making your way into or out of the downtown or from points east of Hillsborough Bridge or headed into or out of the downtown along the north-south Riverside Drive, you can thank all who had a hand in this project for their work. It is nice to see this finally completed. I've got to add, if you have driven in any major city in Canada, Toronto immediately comes to mind. You have to appreciate that comparatively, this was a small hiccup. But when you live in a city the size of Charlottetown, where 10 minutes or less commutes are the expected norm, and anything beyond that is likely to include seeing cows in fields, well, let's just say for the most part, Charlottetown residents and islanders in general have it pretty good when it comes to traffic issues. As the population on PEI grows, so too will the number of vehicles on our roads, but so long as our roadways and intersections keep up and keep things moving, we'll all be okay. For today's show, seeing that Christmas is quickly approaching us, I've still got shopping to do, and 2024 will soon be behind us. It's a good time to recap events in the 2024 real estate market and to make some predictions on what we can expect to see in 2025. Whether you're a homeowner or a buyer, this episode should be interesting, so let's get into it. 2024 has been an eventful year in real estate. Mostly what we have witnessed could be called a return to a more balanced market, but don't get too used to that balance, as we'll see here in a bit. Smaller markets, like here on Prince Edward Island, saw a slowing of demand for homes for much of the year. The sharp increase in mortgage rates that began in early 2022 has been the primary deterrent. In the earlier part of 2024, we saw more mortgage rule adjustments put into place to combat housing and affordability issues. Thank you, Government of Canada. These changes made it harder for buyers to qualify for large loans, but it was intended to encourage smaller, more affordable purchases. Variable rate mortgages became less popular as interest rates remained stable but high, pushing buyers towards fixed rate mortgage terms. 2024 also saw a bit of an uptick of new homes coming onto the market, giving buyers more options and a bit of breathing room in negotiating a purchase on the island. Areas to the north, east, and west of Charlottetown and its neighboring communities have been seeing a number of new developments bringing additional housing inventory to the market, and I presume this is going to continue for years to come. The idea of remote work still appeals to some. While less dominant than during the pandemic, it is still an influence on housing decisions, and buyers are therefore looking for homes with office space, faster internet connectivity, and proximity to green spaces. Coupled with this, progressively lower home prices as you move further away from major urban centers, and the result has been a continuing interest in homes away from the city, but still within reasonable driving distance, and as well an ongoing interest from out-of-province buyers. High interest rates meant fewer people choosing to sell in 2024 unless they absolutely had to. Instead, many opted to stay put and renovate, leveraging home equity to improve rather than to relocate. We've seen an uptick in energy-efficient upgrades like heat pumps and solar panels here on the island. Homeowners are increasingly focusing on sustainability as energy prices rise and government rebates encourage eco friendly choices. And what about buyers? Well, it's been a mixed bag. First time buyers face challenges with affordability due to high prices and stricter mortgage stress tests. However, smaller towns and regions like our own have remained a haven for those looking to escape comparatively high costs of housing elsewhere in the country. The dream of homeownership remains alive, but requires more planning and creativity than ever before. And for some, it means a new community or province even in order to make it all work. Significant market influence have been the record number of immigrants that we've seen this year. This influx plays a part in housing demand, particularly on rental properties, and it does put added pressure on pricing. Wildfires, floods, and hurricanes seem to be more frequent and severe in various parts of the country. Home buyers are aware and they're increasingly prioritizing their purchase of homes in safer areas, and they're factoring in the cost of insurance and climate proofing in making their decisions. The Canadian government has shifted from a defensive to a more encouraging attitude towards the real estate market in recent weeks, and this will likely define the kind of market we will have in 2025. Bank of Canada lending rates dropped for the fifth time in the past 4 months from a high earlier in the year of 5% to 3.25% with the most recent cut. The Canadian government's recent initiatives, like expanding the Canadian Secondary Suite loan program and lowering mortgage qualification thresholds, signals a push to boost housing supply and affordability. Easier financing and lower down payments may enable more buyers to enter into the market, especially first time buyers and those targeting new builds. Doubling loan limits for secondary suites will add much needed rental supply. It's quite likely that housing activity will remain slow throughout the remainder of 2024, but it will pick up significantly early in 2025. We're likely to see an early start to the spring housing season and a shift from a market favoring buyers to one favoring sellers. Many potential buyers have been sidelined for the past couple of years by high interest rates, and they are anxious to buy finally. When the market changes, it's likely going to change quickly and heat up fast. I expect we will see upward pressure on pricing, particularly if we return to a climate of multiple bidding on homes as we saw through the pandemic. The bottom line for homeowners, your investment should be safe, if not rewarded in 2025. For buyers, time is money, and the more time that passes, the greater the likelihood of having to spend more money for that next home. Knowledge is power in real estate. Why not give me a call to talk about your real estate plans? I'm Mike Montague, REMAX Charlottetown, your Prince Edward Island realtor. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time.